Should be good. And we're good. We're live. Can everyone hear me? Everyone's here. Hello, people. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to From One Side to the Other. A little bit of a different setup here tonight because we're going to be doing things a little differently tonight, actually. Tonight, we are, against my personal better judgment and wishes, we're going to be doing a hot sauce box. This is from Fuego Box. It's a subscription. Not sponsored, of course. Not sponsored, but our good friend DJ Scraps, he subscribes to it, and I was kind of overruled and shanghaied by my crew here. So we're gonna be doing that. By the way, for the uninitiated, I don't like spicy food, and I don't deal with it very well. So you can look forward to watching me suffer in a little bit here. But in the meantime, so we're gonna be tasting hot sauces. You know what kind of fits into that theme around here? Well, the obvious answer, and if you read the description, you could probably guess by now. Cannibals! Cannibalism. The one of the oldest taboos of humanity. I always hate people call it that. Taboo. Like it's not really bad, it's just that society says it's bad. No! Don't eat people! I mean, seriously, that's up there with stay out of West Virginia. You shouldn't need to be told to not eat anyone. I can already hear the vegans like, well, you eat animals. Well, yeah, they're not the same thing, okay? But anyway, it's one of the oldest taboos. Pretty much as long as there has been humanity, there's been a sort of hostility and repulsion at cannibalism. Tragically, it is a thing that happens, especially the farther back into history that you go. And we're going about as far back as you can with our first topic of the night. Some people could jokingly say the original cannibal legend. Of course, I'm talking about the Wendigo. Now, what's interesting about the Wendigo is it is literally as old as any civilization that existed on the North American continent. It is pre-colonial. It is literally every source I looked into, no one is the origin. Like, the Wendigo could very well literally be prehistoric. I guess technically it is prehistoric because it was being told of when we first started writing history. So it is literally prehistoric. But anyway, it's more common the farther north you go. There are some stories of it in North America. But again, it's more Canada, really. And again, the farther north you go, the more prolific they become. And what's funny is that the modern Wendigo story, like the pictures you see all the time and in movies, they became very popular for a little while, actually. They've kind of subsided, kind of being replaced by skinwalkers. A couple of years ago, every unexplained thing was a Wendigo. Now it's a skinwalker. But anyway, the original Wendigo looked very different and behaved very different than the more modern adaptations. So basically, the original Wendigo wasn't a physical monster originally. It was a spirit. The soul of a human who starved to death. Some stories say it was a human who froze to death, but most of them said starving. Fittingly with tonight, food and eating is a big theme with the Wendigo. Which, by the way, guy in the bushes, I know you're going to say this. Yes, it has like 6 different pronunciations. Some people say it's Wendigo, some say Wendigo. I've heard a few other variations, but you have to remember this creature was spoken about all across the continent. Literally every tribe or state or whatever you want to call the original indigenous people everyone had a version of this legend. And yeah, as you can imagine, different people in different regions are going to have different pronunciations. But anyway, we have something going on in the chat here. You'll have to forgive me, the chat, my screen is in a whole different place. Normally, it's actually in front of me, so... Don't need the prints. Ah, yes, yes. In South America, the Mayans, there was a ritual of consuming the hearts of enemy warriors and so on. But that's a whole different region. That was actually seen as a holy rite. There was usually priests actually who would do that. Things like that. It's kind of funny. The farther north you go, the more they were like, cannibalism is wrong and evil. And the South Americans were like, hold my human skull. Very different opinions about cannibalism between North and South America. But anyway, back to my point. The Wendigo is actually a spirit of a deceased person that possesses someone alive. Now, in a lot of the older legends, there are ways to make yourself unappealing to the Wendigo. Wendigo spirits want to possess someone that is susceptible to darkness. They prefer people who are greedy or very isolative, who are standoffish. They prefer bad people. So don't be bad. Don't be greedy. Don't be mean and bitter and stuff like that, or a Wendigo could possess you. And it's pretty horrible. So a lot of the stories claim that at first you can't tell, but the longer that the spirit is in the person, the more they start to change. And this is where we see the big distinction between the modern Wendigo and the older legends of the Wendigo. If we actually have a comparison, kind of. Can we bring up the modern? There we go. This is not a Wendigo. Stop saying he's a Wendigo. Okay? He's the Vagrant. Every time you mention that he's a Wendigo, the next episode of the Vagrancy Horror gets pushed back that much farther. So stop calling him a Wendigo. By the way, after the stream, we do have a series, in case there's anyone new to the chat, new to the show. We do have a series of short horror stories that I wrote and narrate mostly. But anyway, that is not a Wendigo. The whole deer skull thing and antlers, that is completely modern Hollywood. The original Wendigos were described as looking more, and I'll quote this because this is the most metal-sounding description of a monster ever. A gaunt skeleton wearing stolen skin that had just been dug out of a grave. They were usually described as being gray or very pale. And they hate the warmth. They need the cold. And that actually ties into how you can actually destroy them. Because even that's not easy to do. Once the Wendigo is in a person and the metamorphosis has begun, you actually have to kill them twice. The first time, you have to just kill them like you would a normal person, with enough damage to their physical body. But that won't get rid of the spirit. In fact, if you do that, and you don't do the second step, then the spirit will just jump out and possess another person. You have to kill the physical body first, and then you have to melt the heart of the victim with fire. So, a common trope across lots of spiritualities, fire is the great purifier. The purifier, if you will. Yeah. No, they don't have antlers, okay? That is a modern thing. They look more like a corpse. And supposedly they are giant. They get bigger. A lot of older legends say every time they kill a person, they can double in size. Eventually they'll be, giants, literal giants. But you have to kill them like you would a normal human first, and then you have to remove their heart, which supposedly when you're possessed by a Wendigo, your heart turns to ice. Literally freezes over. And you have to extract the heart and melt it. Otherwise, the Wendigo is still a threat. But the whole deer skull thing, yeah, that is modern Hollywood. Yeah, the bishop is in the chat there. He's right. They look more like a frozen giant. What were they called? In Norse mythology, Jotun? The frost giants were the Jotun, I think. I think that's how you pronounce the name. They look more like that, actually. But anyway, and again, the big characteristic about the Wendigo, the thing that makes it so dangerous, is that it can only eat human flesh. Anything else will make it sick, actually. So that's a way. If you think your friend might be possessed by a Wendigo, see if he loses his appetite at first. See if he wants any of your world-famous chili or first-class meatloaf. Because if he says no, there's a good chance he's a Wendigo. But yeah, no. They are, of course, your more traditional supernatural thing. They're incredibly strong. They become more animal-like. They'll shun group activities and being around people and become more standoffish. A lot of philosophers have talked about the Wendigo as being kind of a cautionary tale from the more tribal age of human history about how you don't want to isolate yourself and you don't, want to give in to maybe your more aggressive nature. And again, we're going to say this all through the night. Don't eat people! Stop it! But yeah, it's funny how they've changed so much over generations. And it's actually funny, when I was looking it up, there are some people who would even argue the modern Wendigo is nothing like what they are originally. They don't represent the same kind of thing in legends. They're more of a generic movie monster. Personally, I'll give you, no, the deer skull monster is not a Wendigo in the traditional sense. It's still a cool monster. It's just not a Wendigo. So we need to make up a new name for the deer skull monsters, because they're not Wendigos. And I'm wondering how many times I'm going to say that before the end of the night. It's like, there you go. I keep joking about the first ever Vagrancy horror merchandise. There you go. We'll get a picture of the Vagrant on a t-shirt and just say, not a Wendigo. He's not a Wendigo. Although I will confess, I cannot confirm or deny if the Vagrant has ever had human flesh. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, we found the guy out in an alleyway behind a dumpster. I mean, we were like, hey, you want to put on this ridiculous outfit and this mask? And he was like, "Bah." And so we got a guy working for us. But yeah, no, we probably should have actually checked the past. We probably should have background checked the guy before we hired him. But anyway, so that's the Wendigo. And it's funny because, again, there's no origin to the creature. As far back as we have human history, the Wendigo has been a story told in North America. Which, again, the chat kind of alluded to it a minute ago. It's funny how in North America, cannibalism is like the worst thing you can do. But in South America, it was a rite of passage. It was literally part of their religion to consume human flesh. Which, fun side note, and this is not endorsement, YouTube algorithm, I'm saying that very clearly, I am not endorsing it. I'll say it again. Don't eat people! But technically speaking, it is perfectly safe to eat human, as long as you do not eat the brain and the digestive tract. That's where all the weird what are they, prions? Prions and bacteria live. The actual meat and flesh of a human, perfectly safe to eat. Not endorsing it. What is the difference between... Oh, who said that? My mother, of course. Hi, Mom. Of course. Okay, so skinwalkers are completely different from Wendigo, although they are often depicted as looking very similar. Again, that's the modern Wendigo. A skinwalker, and I'll go on this little tangent just for a second, even though, to be fair, honestly, Wendigos and skinwalkers are so different. Skinwalkers should be their own damn episode, honestly. The skinwalker is actually a type of shaman or sorcerer. Now, the stories vary depending on which of the older tribes you talk to of Native Americans. They were more prevalent in the South. There's a part of me that hopes that got picked up. Anyway, sorry, children. They were more prevalent in the southern parts of North America. But it was a sorcerer, a spellcaster, a wizard of sorts, who had made deals with evil spirits. Usually, a lot of the stories would imply around having to murder a family member as a sort of ritualistic sacrifice. Now, the reason they were called skinwalkers is because the greatest power they possessed was shape-shifting. They could make themselves look like different people. Most of the time, the stories say they would turn into an animal to adapt that animal's particular powerful traits, They would turn into a coyote because a coyote can run faster than a human. They would turn into a bird, like a hawk or a vulture, because it can fly, things like that. Some modern stories talk about them turning into like hybrids, kind of like a werewolf-looking thing. But I want to point out that's also more of a modern story. Some stories also say that a skinwalker can only be killed in his true human form. While he's shapeshift, you can't kill him. They're invincible. But no, a Wendigo and a skinwalker are completely different creatures. Excuse me. Completely different things, and actually they're more prevalent in the opposite areas. Wendigos are mostly talked about in Canada and the northern top part of what is the modern day United States. Skinwalkers are more prevalent around the southern half of the United States and into Mexico. Mr. Bishop, why do you know if that tastes like chicken? Actually, don't answer that. What else we have? Oh, yeah, yes, actually, Sean's not too far off. I've heard stories that there's something about saying their real name can force them to become their human self again or something like that. I don't know the full details, and I didn't really do any research about skinwalkers before this, so I can't really speak too much about them, but I remember there's some kind of weakness they have to their name. But anyway... But yeah, that's the big difference between Wendigo and Skinwalker. Completely different creatures from different parts of the world. But we've been talking about modern stuff, so we're going to get into some modern horrors. Oh, yeah, chat, can you hear that? They can hear it? You guys can hear the blood-curdling children screaming out in the desert? That's not staged, folks. That literally just kind of happened. We're going to have somebody called on us. That's what it's going to be. Last week we talked about the government and alien conspiracies and covers up. Nothing happened. Tonight, we're just talking about serial killers. They hear a child screaming, and we're going to have a knock on the door. That's how it's going to go down. I bet you anything. But anyway, like I said, speaking of screaming children, we're going to go into modern times. And we're going to discuss a couple of infamous real-world cannibals. Um, and I'm willing to bet most of the chat could probably guess a couple of the names that are going to come up tonight. But we're going to start off with, ironically, probably one of the most infamous, even though actually his level of crime kind of pales in comparison to some of the other people on this list. But Jeffrey Dahmer, or is it Dahmer? Yeah, Dahmer. Spoiler warning. I'm not too concerned about offending him, but I believe it's pronounced Dahmer. The what was he called? The Milwaukee Monster. I think that's Milwaukee. That's where he was. Yeah. Boy, how I made a terrible mistake because I'm like, I'll look him up real quick and do some research, and oh boy, entire psychological theories have been built around this guy. It's kind of funny how, like, people know of his legend and they know of him, but in actuality, when I was looking up, famous serial killers and cannibals, he's kind of wimpy. And I don't mean like his physical appearance. I mean he kind of wasn't very successful, actually. Although he kind of became the poster boy icon of pleading insanity, and I'll just say the ugly thing, excuses making. But we'll get to that in a minute. He lived a strange life even before he started to murder people and eat their hearts. He was particularly fond of the heart and the liver. Though he would also eat the biceps and the thighs sometimes. He preferred making them into sandwich meat. And I can only imagine the chat is just loving. Yeah, names are very powerful, chat. Lots of supernatural stuff. Supposedly, names give power. Hi Tara. Hi Connie. It's funny, just a quick aside, because I see people are actually chatting it up and stuff. I mentioned I was going to be doing a hot sauce challenge later tonight to a bunch of my coworkers. And now they say, oh yeah, I'm going to totally tune in. I want to see that. I'm going to be in pain. Now they're going to watch the show. But anyway, we're going back to Jeffrey Dahmer. He lived, admittedly, a very strange life. Even as a child, he was out there. His father, Lionel Dahmer, I believe is how you pronounce his name, did a lot of interviews about him, actually. And real quick, I know I'm kind of jumping ahead. I feel so bad for him. His father tried so hard to help him and save him, and Jeff just threw it back in his face every chance he got. Horrible human being. Jeff was a monster of a man. And that's coming from someone who loves monsters. So that should say something. But anyway, according to his family, Jeffrey was very creative. He didn't like playing with other kids, really. He would play by himself. He had this weird game he would play with animal bones that he called fiddlesticks. And the details, I couldn't find the greater details, but he literally liked playing with dead things. Now, his father was a chemist, and unfortunately, thinking that he could inspire Jeff to follow in his footsteps, he taught young boy Jeffrey about things like the embalming processes and how to preserve corpses and taxidermy and things like that. Unfortunately, it just fueled this fascination with death that Jeffrey had. Let me see here. I have all these notes. His first murder was in... There's so many things that I wrote down about this guy, because, I mean, you want to talk about a laundry list of stuff, but his first killing, he confessed, was in 1978. He would go on to kill 16 more people before he was finally apprehended in 1991. A weird side note. He was a late bloomer, actually. Apparently, he didn't hit puberty until well into high school. And he himself claimed that it manifested with this strange obsession with daydreaming and fantasizing. And usually his fantasies were very violent, he admitted. But he wasn't that great of a student either. It's funny, a lot of teachers who knew him were like, he was such a great student, but he sucked for his grades. He would never actually do any of the homework. He constantly would get distracted in tests. A lot of people also say that it was probably because of the fact that he actually started drinking when he was 13 years old. He was drinking before he hit puberty. Which actually makes me wonder, could drinking actually, suppress puberty? I mean, I know that the body is kind of weird when it's going through there, but actually, what he supposedly would do is he had this flask that he would hide in his coat, and he would fill it with scotch that he would steal from his neighbors. And when he was questioned about it in school, he would claim that it was medication he had to take. But yeah, before puberty, he was a raging alcoholic. He would get drunk a lot in school, and he would pass it off that he was sick when he got home or he wasn't feeling well, things like that. It didn't help that his mother was a hypochondriac. And when I say hypochondriac, I'm not making a joke. She sincerely was an actual, yes, hypochondriac, and she kind of spread it on to him. She always thought she had something wrong, and so she always thought so did he. Meanwhile, his father was very tied to work at a university, so he was kind of absent. And again, in later years, he always talked about how he regretted how he raised Jeffrey, and he always felt like he had caused a lot of the problems that his son had. Personally, me, I don't care how absent or busy you are as a father. I'm pretty sure the person that killed and ate 17 people is the one responsible for the things Jeffrey did. That's just my personal perspective. But what's funny is his dad tried everything you could imagine to help his son. He got him set up with job after job after job. Jeffrey could never keep one. The longest job he ever had was only 10 months. Well, I guess that's not true. There was one job he did. He actually ended up joining the army, but he only was in it for 2 years. He was a medical aide, but he was released from the army because of his drinking, and supposedly because a couple of different times he got into fights with other recruits. He claimed that they assaulted him and jumped him because he would get his unit and team in trouble because he'd be drunk, and so the COs would take it out on the whole team. So, yeah. Personally, me, sounds about right for the military. Yeah, you screw the whole team over, you get us all in trouble because you're drunk. Yeah, they're going to probably smack you a little. But he was only in it for 2 years before they discharged him. It's kind of funny to actually think he actually got an honorable discharge. Because again, he got in a lot of trouble for being drunk a lot of the time. And the CO, his commanding officer, was like, you know what, kid, you're just not cut out for the army. It's not really your fault. So they gave him an honorable discharge. And he finally found a job that he could actually hold down. He became a bartender, which is kind of ironic for a man who claimed all his problems was alcohol. But as far as the murders go, he was very, very meticulous, actually. He only targeted men, specifically homosexuals. He would usually get them to go to his apartment or his home, wherever he was living at the time, because he jumped around all over the damn place. Uh, Basically, he kept burning bridges and getting kicked out. But he would lure his victims back, usually saying that he wanted to do like a photo shoot with them. And he loved watching movies. He would constantly claim, come over to my place. I have really nice alcohol and we can watch movies. He loved Return of the Jedi. Was probably, I think, did he say it was his favorite or one of? I think he said, I don't think he said it was his absolute favorite, but he loved Return of the Jedi, which, to be fair, great movie. Not my personal favorite Star Wars, actually. It was when I was a kid, but not, I don't know, as I've grown, I've come to really like the prequels, actually. Anyway, though. Let's see here. Okay, I'm looking back through here real quick. Sean, please never ever use the term heartthrob to describe Jeffrey Dahmer again. Just don't do that. You're gonna get us in trouble. My sister bringing up the sometime when we're talking more about the military, I have to tell the story of my grandfather's story of 15 minutes. Something to tease you guys into coming back in a future episode. My grandfather had a story he loved to tell about 15 minutes. But anyway, back to my point. It's kind of funny because they recently did a documentary about him on Netflix. Now, I haven't watched Netflix in probably a couple years, actually. But what's funny is when I was looking into this and I was researching it, I actually asked a couple of the people I know, about the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary, and everyone hated it that I heard of. Everyone hated it because rather than focusing on the murders, they focused on his sexuality, which is kind of not the important part. I feel like the important part might have been, the 17 people that he turned into loose meat sandwiches. Oh, okay. The bishop over in the corner has done some research. So apparently his favorite movies were the Exorcist trilogy, 1, 2, and 3. Which is funny because that, we'll explain in a little bit how that came back to bite him in the ass. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. But anyway, he was homosexual, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Not really the important part. You know what I mean? I think that there's more important things to worry about with Jeffrey Dahmer than the icky gayness, But apparently, yeah, the documentary was widely disliked, actually, because it harped on his sexuality. Now, to be fair, he was a perv. He was a bit obsessed with sexuality, and he picked his victims on how attractive they were to him. Yeah, it was really creepy. I mean, like I said, people have written books trying to decipher Jeffrey Dahmer's particular flavor of madness. Some people try to say that it was actually, it's because he had such a loose relationship with his father. He had a possessive nature, and he killed people so he could keep pieces of them with him all the time, and they wouldn't leave him like his father. I'd like to point out his father left him to go to work. I'm sorry, I've always been annoyed. I say always, I've been doing this research for like a week now. It's annoying because it always comes up with Jeffrey. A million excuses. It was never his fault. He was schizophrenic, and it was that society was so unwilling to accept him because he was gay, and it was his father was never around, and it's like, no, you killed 17 men and literally butchered their bodies. Okay, I'm sorry, it's nobody's fault but his own. But anyway, back to saying he would always lure them in with, wanting to watch movies or do photo shoots. That was his big one. He loved taking photographs. Um, Again, I guess that ties back to the whole theory about it being a possessive thing. He wanted to keep them. Um, that's one of the reasons he never attacked women. He wasn't attracted to them. It was always men that he thought were attractive. And like I said, he did this 17 times until eventually he met up with a man named Tracy Edwards, who was one too many. So he met Tracy at a bar and got him to agree to come back to his home. And Tracy had a stroke of genius here. He convinced Jeffrey to put on The Exorcist 3. And it's funny because a lot of people say that that's actually a really bad movie. Some people joke it's the movie that was so bad it actually caught Jeffrey Dahmer. Because basically what happened is he had Tracy handcuffed. But Tracy waited until Jeff was so engrossed watching the movie that he said, hey, Jeffrey, can I please go to the bathroom? And so Jeff actually uncuffed one of the handcuffs because he was distracted. He was like, yeah, fine, whatever, go to the bathroom, be right back, And Tracy took the chance and just clobbered him in the side of the head and ran out the front door of the apartment. Fortunately, there were some police about a block or so away, but he ran to them, telling them he had just been that a man had just tried to hold him hostage and said he was going to kill him. Jeff specifically mentioned how he couldn't wait to eat Tracy's heart. That's a heck of a mood breaker, don't you think? Hey, come over to my house. I have some nice beers. We can watch some movies. Maybe do some other stuff between ourselves. And then you get there and he puts handcuffs on you and tells you that he can't wait to literally eat your heart. Just kind of a deal breaker in my personal opinion, but hey, who am I to judge, right? I'm a weirdo out in the middle of the desert with a pair of undead dogs. But anyway, so the police fortunately believed Tracy, and they asked Tracy to take them back to where he last saw Jeffrey. And Tracy Edwards kind of became a controversial figure because I believe it was in 2001. He was involved in a brawl that ended up getting a man killed. And so a lot of people are kind of touchy on if he's a good or bad person. Personally, for me, I would argue Tracy, at the very least, in that moment, was a hero. Because against all common sense, he agreed to take the police back to where he last saw Jeffrey, to Jeffrey's lair. And before you say that's not a big deal, actually put yourself in that position. Let's be honest here. Tracy got away from Jeffrey Dahmer on stupid luck. Like, seriously. And could you really blame anyone for not wanting to go back to Jeffrey's lair, knowing that Jeffrey could still be there and preparing? It took massive cojones, in my personal opinion, for Tracy to actually agree to go back there. But he did. And it's funny, Jeffrey tried to spin it that it was Tracy who freaked out. And the police were like, well, I mean, what do we have to go on here? It's literally two guys. Each one says the other is a crazy psychopath. But Tracy said that he could prove his story was right because Jeffrey Dahmer had this special foot-long butcher knife. And Tracy claimed that knife was the weapon that Jeffrey had used to kill a bunch of other people and said he was going to use to kill Tracy. So the police are like, well, I mean, I guess that's something towards your story. Okay, do you know where this knife would be? And Tracy said, yes, he hides it in his bedroom. And Jeffrey Dahmer made a horrible mistake there, and that he said, "Yeah, no, you can go look, sure." You know, which ended up being a bad thing because it turns out Tracy was right. Jeffrey had left that gigantic foot-long butcher knife underneath his bed. And while the cops were looking for this knife, they also found a bunch of Jeffrey's photographs that he had taken of his other victims. Realizing that the jig was up, Jeffrey actually tried to fight the cops. And, spoiler warning, they overpowered him. And he was actually captured. The trial was pretty quick. Although, interestingly, before the trial, when he was first brought in and they were interrogating him, supposedly there was something like 60 hours of film used, recording and just going over these interviews with him about all his different victims and where he had left them and why he did it and all these things. And it's funny because throughout the interrogation and then the trial, Jeffrey kind of flip-flopped. At some points, he would be like, yeah, I did bad things, I'm sorry. I believe he actually, on trial, even said that I deserve to die for what I did. But then other times, he would flip, and it would be everyone else's fault. It wasn't his fault. It was society, it was his father, it was all these other things, it was the army, and so on. Which, again, in my personal opinion, it's not the most disgusting thing he did. I mean, obviously, he was a cannibal. But, I mean, I don't know, I've always felt so bad for his father, because his dad really tried everything in his power to save Jeffrey from himself. And Jeffrey just tried his damnedest to make it all his father's fault. Everything was his father's fault. But again, spoiler warning, they didn't buy it. He was found guilty of, I want to say they actually only got him for 16. Because one of the murders, they never were able to find the body. So he admitted he killed 17 men, but they only found 16, so they could only confirm the 16. And he was sentenced to life in prison. Actually, multiple life sentences, technically speaking. He didn't end up serving much, though, because in 1994, he was beaten to death in a shower by one of his cellmates. What was the name? Hold on a second here. I believe it was Kristoff Scarver. I believe is how you pronounce the name. Scarver. Kristoff Scarver, who was himself a murderer. He also claimed to be schizophrenic. He used a pipe to bludgeon Jeffrey Dahmer over the head in the showers. And he claimed he did it because God himself told Christopher to do it. According to Christopher, God sent him to prison so he would be at the right place at the right time to kill Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, as far as I could look and find about this Kristoff Scarver guy, after that, he's just been this, he's still alive, I believe. I'm sure the man in the bushes will be like, actually, he died like 6 months ago. Fine, whatever. The most recent thing I could find of him, he was still alive, serving out a sentence. Again, because he killed 3 other people. But after that, he just got quiet and, just served out a sentence. It was the most random thing. Just that one time he was violent again. I believe some of the stories I saw, he attacked another inmate when he was attacking Jeffrey Anderson, some guy named Anderson, who I guess tried to help Jeffrey and tried to pull Christopher off of him. And so Christopher attacked him too. But it was, again, the stuff I found on it was kind of vague. I'm not 100% sure what happened with this Anderson guy. Again, I'm sure someone in the chat can be more clear about it. But yeah, after that, he mellowed out and nothing really was ever said about him afterwards. He just, as far as I know, he's still serving out his sentences. He's still alive. So yeah, kind of a creepy thing there. But when it actually happened, there was a bit of a commotion because some people were saying that, well, Christopher is a hero. You know, he killed Jeffrey Dahmer, a truly monstrous, evil person. And the DA was like, let's not go making a folk hero out of this. Okay, even if, yes, it was Jeffrey Dahmer, it was still murder. Killing Jeffrey Dahmer in a shower with a lead pipe was still murder, regardless of whether he deserved to die or not. Personally, me, I've always kind of felt conflicted about it, because it's like, it's hard to say. And I'm sure everyone in the chat will have their own opinions about, the death penalty and all that kind of stuff. I feel like the problem with Jeffrey is he was such a horrible person. And his crimes were really unique compared to pretty much anybody else, except for one guy who we're going to get to in a minute. His crimes were so unique, it's kind of, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I've heard some people say that, letting someone like Jeffrey live was cruel because in prison, he was essentially living off the taxpayer money of his victims or the family of his victims. And I can see that. I can see how that could be cruel. At the same time, me personally, I've always said the most powerful thing we've ever observed in the universe is death. And because of that, there's a level of respect you need to give it, and it's kind of like, that's a line I personally won't cross. I'm not willing to say definitively if someone deserves to die or not. Just because, I mean, who am I? I'm just a person. You're just a person. Like, there's nothing more powerful than death, and that is something that shouldn't be taken lightly, especially not when you're emotional. Because, like, let's be fair about this. People were pretty emotional about Jeffrey Dahmer, So as far as should they have given him the death penalty, was it a good thing that Christopher killed him? It's kind of a staple around here. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is with Jeffrey Dahmer. There's a part of me that wants to say yes, but there's also a part of me that feels like I have no right to say yes. But I can tell you what did happen definitively. He was killed brutally. It's kind of funny, actually, when you think about it. He died in a fashion very similar to a lot of his own victims, being completely overpowered by someone much stronger than him, completely taken by surprise, and then became a centerpiece, just talked about. In a weird way, it was kind of karmic, I guess. I don't know. In case you couldn't tell, yeah, this is gonna be this is a dark territory. Remember a couple weeks ago when we were talking about ghosts and stuff, and I was like, boy, howdy, this is heavy. Well, it's about to get a lot heavier, actually, because our next topic, honestly, he puts Jeffrey to shame, in terms of every aspect. But real quick, we're going to talk to the chat for a second here. And don't forget, it's still happening, no matter how much I don't want it to. We're going to be doing hot sauces tonight from our friends over at Fuego Box. Again, not sponsored or anything like that. Just, we have it, and we figured why not. And apparently everybody wants to see me suffer horribly. But let's take a look here at the chat. How are people doing? Oh, Tara, that's not nice. An eat your heart out joke, really? Let's be a little mature here. Mr. Bishop, I don't think having a 14-inch butcher knife makes you a bad person. I think saying you're going to use your 14-inch butcher knife to cut someone open and eat their heart, that makes you a bad person. Maybe just a little bit, just a little bit. Honestly, that sounds kind of cool. A foot-long butcher knife? I gotta ask, hold on. Mr. Bishop, what do you use a 14-inch butcher knife for? I'm kind of curious now. Really, Sean? I wish to watch pain and suffering. I used to be a god to you. I remember when I was your idol. But yeah. We're about halfway to the boxes, so get excited, share around, mention it to everybody. Bring in everyone. I want everyone to watch me scream like a baby. You don't understand how badly I handle hot sauces, okay? How are we doing, actually? Okay, no, we're looking really good, actually. Yeah, Chet, I vaguely heard about that. The drillings into people's skulls. I heard something about that. But it's kind of funny. That's part you're not supposed to eat. Don't eat the brain and don't eat the digestive tract. That makes me wonder, because the reason you don't eat the brains is because that can mess with your brain. Could that have been a part? Well, no, because he was doing it long before. Because he only did the brain drinking thing to a couple, like the last couple, if I recall. So no, that wouldn't be the explanation. I mean, not that there really needs to be an explanation. I mean, personally, I think the simplest explanation is the truth. Jeffrey Dahmer was evil. There are some things that don't need a deeper explanation. Some things do, like is there a Bigfoot, alien, stuff like that. Yeah, there's lots to learn and explore there. Jeffrey Dahmer is pretty much just a single page that says evil across it in bold print. Yeah, Tara, you mentioned that. JR's father, my brother-in-law's father, claimed he ate at the actual roadside restaurant that inspired the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Okay, Tara, real quick. Grandpa also said that the rabbits went to live on a farm. So maybe he's not the best, explanation when it comes to food. For people who aren't seeing the chat, my grandfather claimed he had tried monkey brains in the past. Yeah, in case you hadn't caught on, my grandfather was also quite fond of tall tales. He was the one who told you, Tara, that a rain was alien blood falling from the sky. So, yeah, he would keep skulls as trophies. He would keep various body parts. He only usually ate the heart, the liver, and sometimes the biceps and the thighs. And then I guess sometimes he would drink the juice out of people's skull. I'm sorry, none of that sounds even remotely good. I I don't know if you guys can tell from this camera angle, but I'm quite the fan of food. And even I'm just like, why? What in blazes? The heart. The heart's the one that bugs me the most, because like some people claim the liver is actually tasty. Some people love, my grandmother loved liver and onions. The heart though, the heart is mostly just a bunch of like valves and pumps. It's mostly empty. I mean, there's not much to a heart. Chat, help me out here. Doesn't a heart just sound unappealing to eat? Anyway, though, we're getting off topic here. Um, wow, it's all right. Wow, we spent a lot of time talking about Jeffrey. Well, boy, howdy, because we have a bunch to unpack with the next one, too. Um, our next one, and I'm kind of disappointed because our friend of the channel, Jesus, has said that this is his favorite serial killer. Jesus was going to be here for the hot sauce thing, by the way. But unfortunately, he did not heed my sage counsel when I told him to stay out of West Virginia. And apparently he's gone to West Virginia. And so we can only presume he's been abducted by aliens, possessed by a demon, or silenced by government agents that totally don't exist. So, R.I.P. Jesus, you will be missed. We wish you could be here for our hot sauces. Maybe space and time will warp and we'll get you back somehow. It is West Virginia after all. I mean, weirder stuff has happened. But we're going to be talking about his favorite serial killer, John Wayne Gacy, who for the longest time I thought his name was Gracie, but it's Gacy. Some people might know him as the Killer Clown or Patches the Clown, which is funny because that wasn't his original character. Gacy was actually born in 1942, and the weird thing is even by his own admittance, there really wasn't anything wrong. He was kind of the opposite of Jeffrey in a weird way. Jeffrey blamed everything but himself, and Gacy, he owned it. And again, I'm not endorsing. I'm just going to say the fact is he never apologized. He knew he was evil and he owned it. And he wanted you to know that he was evil. But he started out, he was a clown. He played a clown named Pogo. He was originally Pogo the Clown. He discovered that he liked killing. He enjoyed it. And when he did, that was when he kind of was really born, when he woke up, so to speak. And he changed his character from Pogo the Clown to Patches the Clown. And this guy, boy howdy, if you want to talk about going for a record, he claimed that he had killed 40 men and ate most of them, or at least pieces of them. Some of them were children too. Actually, he did not discriminate from adults and minors. But he did only kill boys and men. He never killed any women. And one thing I read about him, he claimed he was afraid to. He was afraid to kill women because he thought it would feel different than killing a man, and it could turn him off to killing. So he didn't ever kill a woman. He didn't want to. He only killed men. And this guy, he laid it on thick. He loved telling stories about how he tricked people. He would usually, supposedly, he would trick them into getting handcuffed, because he would show them a magic trick of how he could escape from handcuffs, and then he would offer to teach them how to do it, which of course he'd have to handcuff them. And he was quite fond of strangling too. He usually didn't cut people until he was actually preparing to eat them. And unlike Jeffrey Dahmer, who only ate specific body parts, Gacy said he tried everything. He tried every part of the person because he wanted to see if they tasted different and they would feel different. It was weird because Jeffrey always talked about how it was sexual. He thought they were attractive. He wanted to keep them, things like that. Gacy, it was not so much sexual. He often it was fun. He liked it, like it was a fun time, you know. I mean, hey, some people play tabletop games, some people read books. Gacy tricked and murdered and ate people. Um, so hey, you know, I mean, different strokes for different lunatics, right? But anyway, and he was very cruel. He admitted he liked to like tease and taunt people. Um, he even claimed some of them, when he got better at it, he actually would strangle people into unconsciousness and then wake them up and revive them, basically, so that he could do it multiple times. And yeah, he claimed he killed 40, but when they actually caught him, which by the way, there's a funny story about how he got caught that kind of comes full circle. Um, but when they did catch him, he bragged about it. He was like, "Oh, yeah, dude, no, I've killed like 40 people." And they actually found various remains of 33. And so they only charged him with the 33. They claimed he was insane, and he was probably grandiosing. He was grandstanding. You know, he was trying to be more glorious, glorious in his own mind, kind of thing. And he likely didn't actually kill 40 people. Although, to be fair, yeah, he had the means and he had the ability to. But they only found 33 actual remains. And this guy was a prick. He bragged about it, and he loved talking about it. What's funny is that he kind of screwed himself over, because originally he was arrested for marijuana possession. I know, like, the lowest of the low criminal things you could do, right? I mean, I'm amazed they didn't get him for jaywalking. But what's funny is when they arrested him for marijuana possession, he bragged to them. It's like, "Oh, you think this is bad? Let me tell you about my hobby." And I don't know if like he thought they wouldn't believe him or what, but they did. And they found bodies in crawl spaces and buried around his property. And he just didn't know when to stop talking, because in trial he confessed to it and he laughed about it. He mocked his the witnesses and victims and the families of people. Horrible man. And what's funny is that he tried to get out of it through legality. He never was sorry. He never said it was someone else's fault, or it was because daddy didn't love me, or whatever the hell. He claimed they shouldn't arrest him and he shouldn't be incarcerated because of like legality, and you know there was an error in the typing of the trial. And it's funny, he kept appealing it over and over again because he was given a life sentence. They weren't going to kill him originally. They weren't going to give him the death penalty. But he just couldn't shut the hell up. He kept trying to get it appealed, and he kept trying to find legal loopholes. Eventually, it got all the way to the Ninth Circuit, which is basically the doorstep of the Supreme Court of America. And finally there, they were like, "You know what? You're right. There was mistakes with your trial. You shouldn't be getting the life sentence. You should get the death penalty." And what's funny is he still tried to appeal and tried to get out of it, blah, 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 you know. And again, I want to stress, it was never, you know, he never denied that he did it. He never felt bad about it, or it was something wrong. It was always, well, the law, well, wait, no, technically you can't do this. You can't blah, 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 you know. I'm kind of amazed he never got into politics, now that I think about it. Because apparently he loved studying law, and he fancied himself a legal expert. By the way, he represented himself partially. He did have a lawyer at first, but he eventually fired him because the appeals kept getting turned down. But what's creepy is there's kind of a ghost story how this all ends. Because, when was it? Yeah, 1994, excuse me. 1994 was the day he was going to be executed that year. And as is the tradition, he was told, what would you like your last meal to be? And this man documentedly stated for his last meal, he wanted a 6-year-old boy. As you can guess in the chat, they said no. So he settled for his second favorite thing to eat. And this is going to be like the saddest endorsement ever. KFC. Kentucky Fried Chicken. He wanted KFC. And a Diet Coke. I'm sorry, I know you guys can't see it, but the bishop in the corner is just like cringing at the mention of Diet Coke. We talked about a guy making a human heart into a loose meat sandwich and you were fine. Now Diet Coke has you looking squeamish. Anyway, though, sorry. Anyway, and what's interesting is for his last meal, he actually had his 2 children and his second wife with him. And they all ate together. And supposedly they were all sad and they were worried about him. It's kind of weird that in spite of it all, his family didn't abandon him. His children still loved him. His wife stood by him. And he told them, don't worry, it'll be fine. They won't actually kill me. And they're all like, what? And he claimed, supposedly, that he told them that the execution will be carried out at the stroke of midnight. But the midnight hour, that's the devil's hour. And the devil won't let them kill me. And he was confident in this. He believed it. He even mocked them. He mocked the guards and the prisoners and everything, that he was going to be fine. They couldn't kill me. They can't kill me. They can't kill me at midnight. The devil won't let them kill me. And so they take him to be executed. And there actually was a complication. And the moral of the story, well, I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, this tubing, apparently there was some kind of malfunction with it. It apparently clotted. And they couldn't actually get the poison into him. And he was just laughing at them. He was victorious, you know. He was right. The devil wasn't going to let them kill him. And then a newly hired janitor, who strangely nobody ever says who this guy's name was. But it was a janitor who apparently had only been working there for a little while. He conveniently found an extra tube, the exact tube that was needed to carry out the execution. And so the DA, I think it was the DA made the decision that, yeah, it was past midnight, and the governor hadn't called, the president hadn't called, the execution wasn't going to be stayed. It was 10 minutes too late, but yeah, we're going to do it anyway. And now you have to remember, when they do an execution, there are witnesses, so they can verify we weren't cruel, we were professional and efficient, and it wasn't monstrous. And the witnesses tell 2 stories. Some witnesses say that he was frozen with fear and that he didn't say anything. He was dead silent. He just watched as they stuck the needle in his arm and the poison went through this tube into his body. He didn't say a word. He was frozen in terror. The other account says that he reduced himself to a crying little baby, screaming and crying, "This isn't fair, you're not doing it right, this is wrong, it hurts, blah, 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 blah." I mean, non-stop screaming until the very end about how they were doing it wrong and it wasn't fair and it hurt, which kind of fitting for him to go like that, right? But here's the thing, here's the creepy part of it. And this goes into the moral of Gacy, you know, be careful what you wish for. Because he said the devil wouldn't let them kill him. at the stroke of midnight. And his time of death was 12:13. 13 minutes after the stroke of midnight. And it's kind of funny because he himself claimed he was a Catholic. He was a Catholic man, and he even claimed that he would read the Bible to some of his victims. He particularly loved Psalms. I think that's how you pronounce it. I always worry I'm going to pronounce it wrong. But personally, me, and this might sound like a dig coming from an atheist, but I don't understand what his problem was. According to him, the devil kept his word. He didn't die at the stroke of midnight. And it's funny, 12:13 is the time that he died, because this isn't Psalms, it's actually Proverbs, but I'm going to find it here real quick. I actually like this verse, 12:13 Proverbs, and it goes fittingly for Gacy here. An evil man is ensnared by the transactions of his lips, but good can escape such troubles. You know, I can't help but think maybe he should have remembered that particular verse, considering that literally everything that happened to him was because of his own fault. They weren't going to arrest him at all. He was just caught with marijuana. He was the one who told them he killed people. They were just going to give him life in prison. He was the one who kept antagonizing the legal system and pushing the issue to the point that they finally said, you know what, fine, we're going to kill you. And he was the one who said the devil would save him. I mean, who knows? I guess they do say that 12 is the devil's hour, but 13 is bad luck for everybody. Just something to think about. You know, go ahead and digest that for a while. But real quick, let's get to the chat, and let's see what else. Was the Diet Coke with the original order? Yeah. Honestly, I'm not sure what's the grosser part. Want to eat a 6-year-old boy or drink Diet Coke? But yeah, boy howdy, that went dark, didn't it? We went from the sexual predator of Jeffrey Dahmer to making deals with the devil himself with Gacy. What do you say we lighten up the mood a little bit, huh, guys? You want to laugh? Do you like to laugh? Because this next one, he wasn't a clown, but he was damn funny. Our last little topic here, before we do our hot saucing, remember to let everybody know that this is going to happen. I'm sure more people would love to see me suffer and cry in pain. Sean, you're just digging a hole for yourself with these questions, dude. Seriously. For your own sake, stop. But, no, we're going to be talking about a funny one. Our good buddy Alfred Parker. There he is, yeah. This guy. This guy. I can't point at him right because of how the camera works. But anyway, Alfred Parker was, and is sometimes still referred to as, the worst cannibal ever. Not in that he did bad things, in that he was actually incompetent. I can't believe you think that's a tough choice. Yeah. No, Diet Coke is horrible. I'm an atheist, and even I think Diet Coke is a sin. Anyway, though. By the way, again, not sponsored. We're not being sponsored by anything. Yeah, so Parker was a bit of a fool. He supposedly was horribly in debt, And in 1874, to basically try and get some money and maybe make some distance between him and his debtors, he agreed to lead a party of 5 men through the San Juan Mountains into Colorado. Now, Colorado was always very big for mining silver. And most people would tell you, do not try to move through the mountains anywhere near Colorado in the wintertime. But these people were desperate, and basically their logic was that they had to take the risk. They had to try and get through the mountains to beat everyone else to the mines. Because in the summertime and the spring, everyone and their ugly sister is going to go down there. So they had to get there first. And Alfred was desperate and kind of dumb enough that he figured, all he has to do is, outrace winter, right? What could go wrong? Everything. Everything, students. Everything went wrong. Literally. The entire trek was filled with people getting hurt. They were lost almost immediately. They never actually got out of the mountains itself. But by the time that spring actually came, Alfred did finally make it through the mountains alone. And at the time, he claimed that he had been tricked into eating human flesh by one of the people in his party. And unfortunately, people believed him, but they were like, well, I mean, we need to recover these bodies. And so a little bit later, when the thaw started to happen, the snow started to go away, they went up into the mountains and they found the party. The problem is that his story became contradicted, because he claimed that they had lost members across the trail, one by one by one, but they found all the men together. They also found that one of the men had been shot. And realizing that there were contradictions to his story, Alfred got scared and ran away. And he actually spent, I think, 9 years basically running from the law. Now, he claimed it was because when he first got back into civilization, he was so out of it and confused and from exposure to the elements and stuff that he actually misremembered what happened. And when he realized that he had gotten information wrong, he was afraid people would think he had intentionally murdered the whole group, and he was afraid they were going to hang him. I mean, obviously. But he was on the run for 9 years. I believe it was 9 years. And when he finally got caught, they were like, okay, tell us the truth. What actually happened? And he explained that it was this guy in the party, Shannon Bell, I believe was his name. Without looking. I didn't actually... No, hold on. Yeah, Shannon Bell. Shannon Bell, who was himself a claim jumper and a thief, who had joined the party pretending to be a priest, of all things. And that actually it was Bell who killed the other party members and tried to use them for food. And the reason that one body had been shot, that was Bell, and that Alfred had actually shot him in self-defense. Unfortunately, at first, people didn't believe him. Imagine that. He ran away from the law for 9 years and people didn't believe him. But the trial was very quick. The judge said, no, you're a liar, you're a cannibal, you're a claim jumper, and we're going to hang you. And he was sentenced to death. But a bunch of his friends, they appealed the courts, and they claimed that the judge was biased. Because apparently this judge knew him and wanted to hang him. And so he actually got a retrial. And that second trial, the judge ruled, and this is a quote, "You can't be this dumb on purpose." He was saved because he was an actual idiot. And the charges of murder were dropped, and it was replaced with manslaughter. Because, to be fair, he was not a mountain climber, he was not an explorer, he was not in any way, shape, or form fit or prepared to lead these guys through the mountains, let alone the Colorado mountains in winter. So it was considered, I believe, officially, voluntary manslaughter is what they called it. And he served 40 years, actually. But here's the funny thing. He made it through his sentencing. And he died a free man. He served 40 years in jail for manslaughter. But what's funny is he kind of became a legend because of how bad he was at being a cannibal and stuff. There's a trail today that you can actually go up. Some people actually will hike or drive along the trail that he basically took those people. And there are restaurants that you're supposed to like stop and eat at. And this is a thing. But it's even better because they made a movie about him called The Legend of Alfred Parker. And then the people who would go on to make South Park, of all things, took that movie and made a parody of it called Cannibal the Musical, which is probably one of the most fun. I actually went and saw it in theaters. I actually have a poster. I actually have a poster of it that I got autographed by the cast. This was from the Bug Theater in downtown Denver. And I believe that they do have a film version of it. You could find it. And I personally recommend it. It's absolutely hilariously it's hilariously horrible. That's the best way I can describe it. That's right. Thank you, voice off screen. It was actually a film. The movie adaptation of Cannibal the Musical was made by Troma. Wonderful people. Seriously, check out Troma too. We actually have videos on Troma now. Their streaming service. The Unformed King and Perfectly Natural are both on Troma now. So you can go check that out. And again, just, if you can, find the film Cannibal the Musical, or if it's playing in a theater, go see it. Absolutely wonderful. I personally love it. Probably my favorite play that I've ever seen. I mean that dead seriously. I love that musical. That was so freaking funny. It's funny, actually, where is it? The actor who played Shannon Bell, he mentioned how he'd been acting on theater longer than I was alive. Like 30 plus 40 years. And it's funny because, like, I wanted his autograph more than anyone else because I loved the character and I loved his portrayal of it. And I remember when I asked him for his autograph, he was actually surprised. He was like, "You want my autograph?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, dude. You were probably the best out there. You were probably the best on the stage." And I always felt kind of weird that like he seemed genuinely surprised that I wanted his autograph. But I actually did get it. I mean, the whole cast autographed this for me. Wonderful production. Again, funny because it's his life was saved because he was actually the worst, literally the worst. He was the worst cannibal. And it's even funnier because some people will even say Cannibal the Musical is actually more historically accurate than the Legend of Alfred Parker, which I don't know. I haven't seen that movie, but supposedly they try to make him out more as like being kind of heroic and things like that. And it's like, no, he wasn't heroic. He was horribly in debt, and yeah, he was a fool who thought he could outrace winter itself down a mountain. And then he got scared because either a he lied about what actually happened at first, or B, he really was that foolish and he actually got confused and he was wrong about what happened. In both cases, I get it. I understand. I don't think he actually was a murderer. Obviously, disclaimer, I never met the guy. Obviously. But from all the stories I've heard, I agree with the second judge. You can't be that dumb on purpose. That is, I think he was sincerely a fool. And, in a weird way, it's tragic that 5 people died, but if it hadn't been for his foolishness, we wouldn't have this lighthearted thing to talk about, and we wouldn't have a wonderful play. And so, you know what? Thank you, Parker. Thank you for literally doing everything wrong. Thank you so much. I wish there was more to talk about with you because I'm trying real hard to put this off. I really don't want to do this. This is gonna suck. But we've put it off. We've run out of things to talk about. I'm running out of lines. Let's talk to the chat for a second. Here. Never trust a priest or a nun. Yeah, that's a good point, chat. Or no, Tara, my mom. Everyone else. My mother said that. Don't never trust a priest or a nun. Yeah, you guys ready for hot sauces? You ready for fuego? Are we gonna go by? Okay, we're gonna turn the screen off for a second here so we can get situated and ready to go. And we'll be back in just a minute. They can hear us? Hey, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, we have DJ Scraps here from Kobold's Corner.
Hey,
You might know him as the audio guy.
yep. The one that does the. I work on the composition and audio editing for the Vagrancy.
Yep. And this was all his horrible idea, so
Yes, it was.
he's not getting away.
Oh no, I am actually looking quite forward to this
This is gonna suck so brutally.
because I like making this guy suffer.
He's good at it. And whoa, there goes the bishop. There we go. Yeah. We need to be able to see this dude. Get over here. Now, are you even on screen? Oh, God, I'm behind the chat here. There we go.
I'm on screen.
There we
Hello,
go.
everybody.
And now we have the bishop.
We were gonna have our friend Jesus here, but unfortunately he went to West Virginia and most likely died or fell through a time loop. But
As you do.
as you do, I keep telling people. Seriously, I keep telling people, don't go to West Virginia.
So a little bit of context on these guys right here. So
Yeah.
for about $113, you can get this little guy right here, a subscription to Fuego Box. We're not sponsored by them, mind you, but they will send you 3 hot sauces every 3 months for, like I said, about 100. Did I say 113? It's about 130, I think. I do believe, but totally worth it. So.
They're just egging us on. They want us to suffer so bad. Now, the first one we're going to be doing is, which is, because we want to do the one with the Reaper last.
I would say let's go for the. What do you guys think about the fermented garlic hot sauce?
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds horrifying. That would be why, I guess. Yeah. So, Pullman Acre?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Pullman Acre, established in 2014. Pullman Acre produces sauces in Oceanside, California. Fermented garlic is as... You want to read that out loud?
Yeah.
I don't want to say that sentence.
Fermented garlic is as dank as it is complex. The tangy fermented chilies riff beautifully with the savory richness of black garlic, with just a hint of black truffle thrown in for good measure. Initially produced as part of their limited release series, this sauce quickly earned its place as a cornerstone of the Pullman Acre catalog. Says it's good on burgers, steak, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and grilled veggies.
Okay. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me see
Dank.
that. Let me see that real quick here. Let me see it. Ah, darn, it says right there, don't use it on a podcast or a live show. This is my show, for crying out loud.
All right, scoot you over. Come on.
Okay.
There you go. Bring it in.
I tried.
Bring it in, buddy.
I
There you go.
tried. I tried to get out of this.
I'm both excited and nervous about this.
So
It's not going to be nearly as bad. At least it's not
Really?
Baby Craig's.
my mother says that I've been to Oceanside, California. I don't recall that, but okay.
This is the one I'm most scared of.
No, really, the fermented garlic?
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, guys, you guys can hear them, right? In the chat? In the chat, let us know.
Hello.
Hello.
I just want to make sure that the mic is reaching.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, it's a pretty.
It looks like it. Anyway, though. All right, let me hit a whiff of this real quick.
It actually smells pretty good. Definitely very peppery.
I was gonna say I'm getting a lot of herb and vinegar.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Real quick, I'll be right back.
Oh yes. So a cool thing about the Fuego boxes is they send you this little journal. Excuse me. This little journal that you can like keep track of what you, how you gauged each of the sauces.
This actually does smell really good.
Yeah, they're saying they can hear us, so you are kind of quiet.
I'm quiet.
A little. My sister is saying that they can kind of hear you.
Kind of.
So maybe-
I will speak up.
Yeah, speak up a little bit because you are kind of far away.
Yeah.
But oh boy, howdy.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
DJ Scraps is just rummaging through everything trying to find this little book.
All right, here comes the camera to you. Right here. See, it's like a little journal that you can actually like rate your hot sauces on. It's pretty cool.
Now we actually have ordered a couple bottles of hot sauces. what was it? Bullwhip? Bullwhip is the one you like?
Yeah, there's, I don't remember the company. It's called Bullwhip.
But anyway.
Sorry for the horribly blurry picture. I know the focus didn't really
Probably didn't. But,
focus.
but anywho's. So, fermented... I said, when I smelled it, it smelled kind of like vinegar and herbs. But either way.
Dank.
It smells really... It smells dank, yes.
Oh, boy, howdy.
All right. Well,
Ooh, God, it's bubbling.
well, the host of the show gets the first dab.
Why did you have to phrase it like that? Why?
And since you let me do it for you, here you go.
Oh, mama. Oh, it's chunky. I know you can't see it from there, but it's chunky, guys. It's chunky hot sauce. It's a salsa. Oh, and it's dark too. Look at this deep shade.
I know, right?
That's like blood. This looks like chunky blood. It's a good thing we're doing this on the cannibal episode because it looks like, ugh.
Looks like meat. Pureed meat.
Pureed meat.
Smells good.
Also, we
doesn't-
do this all the time. We always get the 3 every 3 months, 4 months?
Yep, about every 3 months. Yep.
And we all sit down and try them together on bread and...
And
Oh!
I sit here and laugh and watch these two cry.
Oh, Tara's trying to punk us out.
What's she?
She's claiming that the bread is cheating, that it'll kill the heat.
Not really.
No.
It really doesn't.
It really doesn't.
Oh, now she's saying, eat it. Eat.
Besides, you don't eat the bread on the first thing. You do this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that looks like sin.
Mm.
Nozzle top.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Honestly, it kind of tastes like a picante.
It's actually not too spicy.
Oh, dear.
It's building slowly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would say this kind of tastes like a fancier picante hot sauce. You know? It's definitely peppery.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely very tangy. I taste a lot of onion, which is really weird.
That's what I was going to say. It tastes like an onion.
Yeah.
An onion that stabs you in the back of the mouth. Oh, mama!
You know, this would go really, really good on some eggs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would go good on it.
This is a good breakfast burrito salsa, hot sauce.
A little bit on a big omelet, maybe?
No way, do it a lot. This
Oh.
isn't nearly enough heat to just justify a little.
Yeah, no, that's not as spicy as I thought it would be.
Oh. Oh, it hurts.
Heck, I want a second hit. That was good. You want a second hit?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you want a second hit?
Not on your life! I don't like spicy food.
That means he actually does. Here you go.
Mother of... Seriously, y'all better frickin' like, share, and subscribe for what I'm doing for you people. And this is all for you, okay?
No, that is really good. Yeah.
It is really good. I actually really enjoy this.
What is it called again?
It is called Palm Acre Smoked Pepper Sauce, the fermented garlic hot sauce.
Yeah. And again, Fuego Box is a thing. You can totally look it up and get it.
Yeah, once we get done doing the hot sauce tasting, I'm pretty sure the bishop here can shoot you a link to the website.
Why, Kristoff? Why did you take the second bite?
Yeah, that would...
Oh, Prince Razal, save me!
It's really not that bad compared to some that we've had.
I'll give you that, but it still hurts.
As you guys can all see, our glorious host here subscribes to the Shatner School of Acting.
Jealous?
Erupt.
Bishop, do me a favor. Go get the milk, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to need more.
I like this stuff. It's good.
It's...
And funny thing is, too, this isn't even the hottest one on here. I'm pretty sure the red chili habanero sauce is going to be hotter than that.
Honestly, I think that's going to be the least bad one. That's why I wanted it first. Thank you.
Calcium. Good
Now
for the
I have
bones.
enough.
It's good for the bones.
Oh, laugh it up, Mr. Bishop. Laugh it up.
I can't read. What did he say?
He's just putting down crying while laughing emojis.
No,
He says, way to go, son.
Oh, well, thank you, Dad.
Yes, for the uninitiated, the bishop's father is K.E. Bishop, or Mr. Bishop as I call him.
It is hot, but it's not the hottest we've had by far. And
Oh, this one's a little frightening. Look at how liquidy that is.
that's
Oh,
when you
my
think it's gonna
unformed
be the
king.
hottest, right?
No, I think the Reaper sauce is going to be the hottest one.
See, this is the one I'm most excited about. 'Cause this has,
I'm
like-
excited about that too.
That's the Reaper one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's made with beets. That's why he's excited about it.
See, I like beets.
Why are you excited about it? You don't like beets.
Because it's a Reaper sauce. I like Reaper sauces.
Okay, so hold on. What is this one? This is Bearded Dragon. You want to read this off real quick here?
Alrighty. Alright, so this is the Bearded Dragon Red Chili Garlic Sauce. And
It's got this adorable little picture of a
There you
bearded
go.
dragon on it.
There we go.
It's like a little kobold.
Nick Zambis grew up in a family that cherished food above all else, as you do. I definitely do. Farming, hunting, eating natural foods was a must. There wasn't even a microwave in the house. With a passion for harvesting and cooking, Nick spent years perfecting his craft and developing his hot sauces. He then partnered up with his cousin Neo, the one,
Did we just get trolled?
to bring their love of sauce to the world. With 4 different peppers, a ton of garlic, and a hint of sweet white onion, this sauce is sure to find its spot on your hot sauce shelf, which is a tiny little rack in our fridge because I use all of these for cooking.
No, he uses this all the time. Like, seriously.
I use them a lot too, especially in like ramen or any sort of stir fry eggs, macaroni, anything really.
These are good for cooking like meat and stuff with.
My mother was saying that sounds like it'd be good on steak.
As a matter of fact, that is the very first thing that it says it's good on is steaks.
Oh, did we pencil down the last one, the fermented garlic,
I did not.
or are we gonna do that after?
I will definitely do that afterwards, just because I don't want to take up a bunch of these people's good time.
Yeah, they're here to see us writhe in agony, not.
See him writhe in agony. I'm enjoying this.
You know,
I do know, actually.
a big theme of one of the segments of tonight's show was be careful what you wish for. What was that?
The cap was not on.
Oh my! Oh God!
Well, our video guy just pepper sprayed himself.
Oh God!
Well, it's not that hot, and the cap was not on.
Oh God! Oh damn! You got a lot on you. Are you okay? Go clean yourself up real quick. Good God! You look like an extra from The Exorcist.
Well, it's not that hot.
He kind of looks like a can of ragu just vomited all over him.
It almost lost my hat. Oh, see, here's the worst thing though about this.
Wow.
I actually have a cut on my tongue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I didn't say anything before because I thought you would accuse me of lying to try and get out of this. Oh, mama!
Oh, now I'm super excited to try the other one.
The Reaper.
Wow, he managed to get it all over himself and got none on me.
Did you get it on the couch? Oh, I got a little bit on.
Yeah, he got some on the couch, got some on the floor.
Looks like
got
a
some
baby threw.
Got some all over himself.
Looked like a baby threw up.
Didn't get a single bit on me.
Hey, Bishop, your dad says good shot. What?
What?
What? Oh God!
Come out in a green shirt anyway.
No, weird.
I know. It'd be funny.
There we go. You okay there, buddy?
Yeah, it got in my eye. It's not that spicy.
Yeah, your father says good shot.
I've been told to hold back the jokes. So.
Yeah.
You okay, buddy? Seriously?
Yeah, it got right in my eye, and it's not as bad as the other one.
Okay. Well, let's do this.
Or at least, so far, it's not as bad as the other one.
What was that? What was that? This is the Bearded Dragon.
Bearded Dragon Red Chili Garlic Sauce.
Red chili garlic sauce. Yeah. Okay. What does it smell like? I guess you could tell us what it smells like, huh, buddy?
Very vinegary.
Yeah, it's very, very vinegary. It's definitely that's definitely a red meat sauce.
Mama! Yeah? That is strong vinegar.
My only fear is that this is going to just be kind of like a fancier version of Tabasco, which I'm personally not a fan of. So
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it, Tabasco.
Well,
Also, we're going to take
There you
that clip and play it in slow motion.
yeah.
But yeah, that's a good way to describe it, like a Tabasco.
there you go. Are you sure you need any more?
Yes, he's not getting out of
Mouth,
this.
I do.
He's not getting out of this.
My eye got enough. I wasn't trying to get out, but I just unwrapped it and shook it.
There you go.
It looks like my sister's concerned for your well-being.
Now that half the bottle of hot sauce is gone before we even got to try it.
I mean, I'm sure my eye's red as hell.
Yeah, you kind of look like you're got a black eye almost. It's like swelling up a little.
Are you looking at my eye?
Which one?
No, come on. You know what that's a quote from.
Yes, I do. We were just talking about
I know
it.
that. All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, God. Oh, that is sour.
That is very sour.
Yeah, that's exactly what I got in my eye and all over myself, and it's not spicy at all.
Oh, my.
It's even less spicier than the first one we tried.
Yeah, I agree, but wow, that sourness kicks you in the teeth, man.
You know what it kind of tastes like? It kind of tastes like a spicy pickle.
See, I'm kind of getting the pickle. Very vinegary, very sour.
I would compare it to Tabasco.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
It's definitely a Tabasco sauce. This is not a sauce that you put on after you cook food. This is a sauce that you cook food with.
Yeah.
This right here. This is a red pureed pickle.
Yeah, it's like a Tabasco, and it's less spicier than the first one we tried.
Honestly, I'm a little disappointed in it.
I'm glad that's the one that blew up on me, and not
Yeah.
one that's
Not the
spicier.
Reaper.
I'll open the next one, okay?
Well, I'm glad it wasn't the Exceedum we tried.
Oh man, so
Yeah,
a little
tell
bit
the
of
story.
a little bit of a story time. There is this hot sauce called Exceedum. It is a hot sauce that was made from ghost peppers and a pepper called the bujoloka, and pineapple. It is to this day the most painful hot sauce that we have all tried. We've done Carolina Reaper sauces, we've done ghost pepper hot sauces, we've done hot sauces that stuck to your mouth and burned you for hours afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
The Exceedum sauce was like drinking a bottle full of wasps after you shook it up and insulted their mother. That's how painful the Exceedum was.
Yeah, I'm glad that's not what splashed all in my face.
Oh.
But anyway,
And this is one you say is going to be the hottest.
yeah, but like, yeah, I can definitely see this one being good, like on some like sort of steaks or something like that. But this is a sauce to cook with, like I said before. You don't
Maybe
this-
mix it into a tomato sauce?
Yeah, it could be. It needs to be covered up. That's the thing. It's very, very strong. It's very, very like up front. So this is a sauce that you need to like kill a little bit because it's not going to be good otherwise.
Yeah.
But was it good for you?
Pepper spray is a lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't. There is a burn, but it's not. It's very, very mild.
Yeah,
was-
it definitely disappeared super quick. So
And it tastes like Tabasco is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, the sourness of it was what hit me more than the spice.
yeah, like I said, it's a spicy pureed pickle.
But
I will be feeling this for the next couple hours, but it's not
Did you like
bad.
this one?
can you
Sure.
read that? Can you read that one?
Yeah, I can see clearly.
Yeah.
You can see clearly now the sauce is in his eyes.
Ginger Goat, We Got the Beats, about. Founded in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada in 2021, Ginger Goat has quickly gained a following around the world and and have won multiple awards for the unique blend of all natural ingredients without the addition of any fillers, thickeners, stabilizers, or extracts. We got the beets, which it's spelt different for different things. Beets as in like beet and beets as in the plant. We got the beets as a blend of beets, pomegranate, hibiscus, garum, masala, and Carolina Reaper peppers. That is anything but rudimentary. It's smoky, tart, sweet, and savory, and plays with your palate before the behind the beet entrance of heat from the Reapers. Try it on soups, stews, curries, chili, rice, chicken, burgers, salads, dressings, Bloody Marys, barbecue, and more. Especially a roasted beet, goat cheese, and candied pecan salad.
Ooh.
Trying it on a roasted beet. It's kind of... Yeah.
I don't know if you can roast a beet. I don't think they have feelings.
Yeah, we got the beet.
This is why I'm the host of the shows, and I'm the one who does the talking normally.
Oh, see, look, I almost made the same mistake. The cap wasn't screwed on all the way.
Yeah, you could watch in the video. I took the plastic off and started shaking it right in my face.
So I'm just going to lean a little bit this way.
You can see it if it'll focus.
Come on.
Nope.
Nope, not doing it.
But it is terrifying. Actually.
Everything. My sister says that sounds interesting until you said the word Reaper.
That's the part I'm most excited about.
But you don't think it could be worse than the Exceed?
You know what? We've done, God, how many boxes now?
Oh, I've been doing this for like 4 years at least.
Yeah, I think we've gone through maybe like 20 or 30 different hot sauces, and still nothing has beaten the Exceedum. Because it was just instant, agonizing pain. There was no build-up. There was no like, we can taste the flavors. It was just instantly needle,
And it lingered so long, and
And the worst part
got
is too,
comfortable.
it was chunky. It was little pieces of angry hot pineapple. It's like a Hawaiian just got tired of our stuff and just went.
But we did use it all. We use pretty much every hot sauce we get. We eventually use them.
Yep. But anyway, there we go.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah, let me...
Oh.
He's making the wasps angry, if you couldn't tell, folks.
That's an interesting smell.
What in Sam hell?
You can definitely smell the beets.
It smells like gingerbread.
That does not smell like a hot sauce. That's weird.
It doesn't. It smells sweet. It smells like
Yeah, that smells like gingerbread.
I'm not crazy.
You realize that means that's going to be insanely hot, right? Because you
know.
remember the black cherry sauce that I got?
Oh.
How that smelled?
Mhm.
Like how sweet and syrupy it smelled.
Oh. Yeah.
And then we put it on our tongue, and you were lying on the floor crying.
I was not crying. I was gagging.
Same thing.
Yeah, it smells like Christmas. It smells like Christmas. It smells like a gingerbread cookie or a ginger snap or something.
Smells like Christmas, everybody. Smells like Christmas.
Well, if it smells like Christmas, allow me to give you a present. There you go.
It's even kind of purplish. For beets, of course. But yeah.
Oh.
And hopefully it doesn't taste like Pepto-Bismol and cotton candy like one we got last time. I don't even remember the name of it.
There you go.
What was that? It was like Tabasco and Pepto-Bismol.
I don't want that. I don't want that corner piece. See that? That is an inferior piece of bread. This is.
Your dad is just dying laughing. Apparently,
I can't monitor the chat. I don't know what people are saying.
my sister is confused by us saying it smells like gingerbread.
So
And-
it smells like gingerbread because it's the makeup of it is like beets and flowers
Yeah.
and some fruit. There's not I think the only actual pepper that's in here.
Is the Reaper. Oh, it is thick.
Yeah, the only pepper that's actually in here is the Carolina Reaper pepper. Hibiscus, that's a weird one
Hibiscus flower.
for a hot sauce anyway.
That's like my mom's
That's more
favorite
like
flower.
That's more like a tea flower than a hot sauce flower. But anyway, all right.
Cheers.
Cheers. I hate you all.
This is going to be one of those where the heat builds up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there.
Oh!
It's very slowly building.
Oh!
You're okay, buddy.
Screw you! No, I'm not.
The problem is when I licked the bread, it all went into the back of my mouth, so I'm actually kind of choking on it a little bit.
Oh!
Should I use the tip of my tongue?
Yeah,
It's building. It's building.
Mm. I got milk all over myself.
Womp womp.
I got hot sauce all over myself.
It is good though.
I'm the host. People care about me. Oh!
Ouch.
That is really good though.
No, it's not.
It's very sweet. Kind of like I thought it was going to be really sweet just because of the makeup, but like that's even sweeter than I thought it was going to be. It's more like yeah, almost. You know what it kind of almost tastes like? It almost tastes like a jelly.
I'm not getting the taste of beets. I'm getting like the ginger. And...
Oh!
It is building. It is burning. It is the spiciest of the three, definitely.
Oh! They're just rolling, laughing. Oh! Ah! Oh!
Oh, what would that be? You know, this would be good on some steak too, but like with some like teriyaki sauce mixed in with it and stir fried. That would be really good.
Oh!
It's getting worse and worse. It really is.
Ah! DJ, I hate you. Oh, I hurt. I feel. Oh, I need to sit down. I'm already sitting down. Oh, I'm going to hurt you later for this.
Cheers.
Oh God, my head hurts. I feel slightly nauseous.
Excuse me.
Ah.
It's okay, buddy. Just breathe.
Oh,
You have water.
water. Oh.
Water makes it worse.
I got water too. Yeah, it definitely does build and linger.
Now that I
They're
got
taking bets on how many glasses of milk will I actually drink.
Not the worst we've had.
No, I think.
Okay, so hold on real quick. I want to say this. So, my brother wants to take bets on how many glasses of milk will I drink. Your dad wants to be put in the will. He wants my dogs if I die. And Tara's word of advice is wait until it comes out the other end.
Oh, buddy.
I'm turning into an 80s metal rock star.
They're not even chili high. It's kind of a shame.
I'm getting that.
We don't have any ice cream. I wanted to get ice cream, but I didn't.
No,
I am getting that chili high, that buzz. It's nice, but
no. Honestly, I actually really like this sauce. It's really good. I think this would be really good for some sort of Asian cuisine.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try and see straight first of all, and give an account here, from my perspective, because it's my bloody show after all. Okay.
and I don't talk too much anyway, so.
So, when I tried it, there was this initial sweetness. It was almost like a gummy.
Yeah.
Or I guess like you said a jam. Was it you who said a jam?
He said a jam.
Yeah,
but
like a
it's
jam.
kinda-
Or a jam or a gutty. And then suddenly I had an experience. I heard a voice from the darkness. Said, "You done messed up, boy." And then it was just pain and nausea. And now my head hurts. Oh.
Sound of
Oh.
you can hear the sound of maniacal kobold laughter in the back of your head. Just
you and your 25 EXP can go to hell. I don't even believe in hell, and you can go there. Oh.
Actually, I kind of want some more. It's good.
Yeah, there is that chili high, a little bit of lightheadedness. It's not.
I don't know what you guys' problem is. I find it delightful.
I'm glad you like it.
I actually think the fermented garlic was my favorite.
Uh.
How about you, Kristoff?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of liked actually the dragon. Just I wouldn't like it by itself. I think it can actually be good at adding kind of a sour tang to something. And it didn't make me feel like I'm gonna upchuck. Oh my god. Oh. Oh.
If you like heat, definitely this one.
Oh yeah. No. Okay.
This one has good taste. Tastes
Oh.
like Christmas. This one, the heat is actually pretty mild, but I actually like the flavors in this better. It's vinegary, garlicky. It's just all around good, in my opinion. I really like this one personally.
So if I had to go best to worst, I would say probably the ginger goat's the best one. The fermented garlic is the second best. And again, not really much of a fan of the bearded dragon, even though it was a fan of him.
My eye. I am glad it was the bearded dragon and not the ginger goat that exploded on me.
Good heavens. Oh.
At least it's going away fast.
It is going away. It is going away. I still feel slightly nauseous. My head kind of hurts. Okay, you have medical knowledge. It's like right here. It hurts.
That's like a pressure
Yeah.
headache.
Oh.
See,
He's got the vapors. You're very funny, Tara. You're a laugh riot. We need to have you on the show some
Yeah,
bloody
he's definitely
time.
gonna have those later.
Oh! The sulfur vent wants to make jokes about the vapors later.
So again, guys, if you like hot sauces, Fuego Box. Okay?
Despite my pain and suffering, I actually agree. 9 times out of 10, they actually are good. And I'll even acknowledge, even though I feel sick now, for a hot sauce that's supposed to be spicy and kind of sweet, yeah, the goat thing is actually good. These are very good.
Look at him doing the worm crawl.
Just stay off camera.
But
Oh! Shut! Ooh, boy! Boy! Oh! Oh, I don't even know what to say to that! Ah!
you know, it's really funny too because we've been doing this for almost 4 years, and these two never learn. Like, I renew this subscription every year, and they're just like, "Oh boy, hot sauces!" And then, like, when they actually get here, they're like, "Oh no, hot sauces!"
Keep talking trash. I'm gonna aim at you when I throw up. Oh, god damn it. It's cold! What the hell? Okay, no. I'm gonna try really hard to get through this. Yeah, Fuego Box is actually really cool. No, this is not sponsored. This is just us doing it. Y'all better like true crime and weird stories, because I'm not doing this again.
Yeah, at least for another 3 months.
Oh, I hate you so much. Yeah, Bishop, get us a link to them. They're really cool. They are totally worth it. They are a little pricey, I'll acknowledge.
But it's I think it's like $130, but it's $130 for a year. And you get 3 hot sauces every 3 months. And they're not little, dinky sample bottles. These are actually like full-size hot sauce bottles.
Absolutely. Check them out. We'll be here next week, unless this actually kills me.
It's not going to kill him. He'll be...
Bread, son, bread. Yeah. 12. You'll get 12 bottles a year, roughly speaking. They are very good. Oh boy, howdy. But anyway, I'm Kristoff N. Chester. This is our wonderful guest, DJ Sharp Splinter from Kobold's Corner. We had the Bishop over there.
Hi.
Thank you all for being here. We hope it was fun. We hope it was entertaining because I hope something good came out of this.
Shameless plug, twitch.tv, Scrap Sharp Splinter. Look me up. I do DJ sets every Sunday.
Yep. And, yeah. And as always, are we ready to go? As always, boys and girls, keep checking the shadows.